Hey, thanks so much for tuning in to Lead, Grow, Live. This week, I'm really excited to bring you Tyler Albrecht. He is a realtor and real estate investor here in Lafayette and really all over the world. What I want you to listen up to is his theory: work really hard, be frugal, and do the things required to free you up to enjoy your life. Cannot wait for you to hear it. Here's Tyler's episode. Tyler, it's so good to have you, man. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited because Ethan introduced us. And, a lot of times we say, lead your people, grow your company, and live your life. And he said, man, this guy lives his life. So I want to hear a lot about that, and we'll get to it. But really, there's a lot of lessons to help entrepreneurs out there who they're just grinding so hard that they don't stop and live life and enjoy the fruits of their efforts, right? Mm-hmm. So you are a local real estate investor. Mm-hmm. Tell me about that. How'd you get into it?
My first partner was my dad and my mom, and we started investing in 2017. Started because, I was working the oil field. I got canned when the price of oil dropped, and I was a little bitter, so I took some time off of work and was traveling a lot and, trying to figure out what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. And at the time, my dad had instilled in me the value of owning real estate, and I decided around that time that I think real estate is what I wanted to do. So partnered with him and my mom, and we bought our first rent house, and that's kind of where it started.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So you got the bug though.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's neat about what you said to me is you took a little bit of time off, figure out what you want to do. Mm-hmm. You took some guidance from your parents, right? But you got back into it. So I want to hear about what got you interested in real estate, because you went one direction and you ended up coming back a totally different direction.
Yeah. So I guess to take it back a little further, when I came out of school, I started in sales, selling food, and, I had a connection there because my dad was a chef at the time. So started selling food locally in Lafayette to local restaurants. That went well. I got promoted, started selling to hotels around Louisiana. And then my last gig, I got promoted to the account manager for all the Raising Cane's and Popeyes in the South. So
nice.
I was basically a firefighter.
Yeah. You were just taking orders and getting them there quickly. Huh?
Exactly. Dealing with all the issues of delivery. So missed items, damaged landscaping, damaged signage.
You were doing it all.
All the things that can go wrong with deliveries, we were taking care of. I left that job for another opportunity. I went work offshore for 2 years, and that was completely different industry. Yeah. I was the only guy offshore with an MBA, and people wonder what I was doing out there. I said, same thing as you. I'm chasing the money. Yeah. Did that for 2 years, and then price of oil went down. They started chopping heads, and it took 2 years to decide really what I wanted to do. And during that time, I had purchased my first house when I was working offshore, which was a great thing to have done already. But to pay the mortgage, I brought on some roommates, and I was doing anything and anything I could. So I was driving for Uber. I was cutting grass, handyman work. My family has an ice sculpting business in New Orleans. I went to help them more. Anything I could not to have a full-time job, really. And then,
Well, you were on this journey of discovery, though.
I was. Took a big road trip. I drove all the way to Vancouver in my truck and took my dirt bike with me and went explore the United States. And during that time, I was trying to figure out, what can I be passionate about? What can I make money with and do for a long time and grow? And I remember that my dad, he had purchased a house for my older brother when he got to UL to live in instead of paying rent. And eventually I moved into that house, and I was kind of managing for my dad, bringing in roommates, collecting checks, doing repairs. I thought, man, my dad's kind of got it figured out. He's in New Orleans collecting checks. I'm over here doing all the work. I think I want to be him. I want to be the owner, not the operator. Yeah. And so I said, all right, well, if you can't beat him, join him. So partnered with my dad and my mom, and we bought our first rent house right off of Johnson Street in 2017. That was a good opportunity to really learn. So get my feet wet with trying to find, purchase a property, know what property to purchase, know what it's going to rent out for, trust that it's all going to work out, getting the financing for it. And it was definitely a very good learning experience. And that was the first one that kind of got my feet wet. We got it rented out, and it worked. And so my next one that we purchased was a lot more work. The first one was turnkey. Second one, I'd go around telling people, hey, look, I'm a flipper, I'm a real estate investor, when really I had not flipped anything. I didn't know the first thing about flipping.
But you were still trying to figure it out.
Still trying to figure it out, yeah. But you got to kind of speak it into existence.
Absolutely. Let me. I'm a light bulb moment here, right? Because there's something you said about your 2 years when you took some time off. Mm-hmm. You were still working odd jobs. You were still trying to do things to make money in, but you were trying to figure out something that would give you purpose, something that you would really enjoy. It would make you money, and you could do it for a long time. I mean, that is the framework for really and truly discovering and being successful to me, because one, you do have to have a purpose. You have to be passionate about it. You got to be able to do it over and over and over again to become a professional. Right? And do it for a long time, and you got to make money. So you just shared with us what I believe really is the formula to success, but you did it through that journey of discovery, and I love that, man.
Yeah, when, during the time I wasn't quite sure where it was going or where I was going, but made a lot of mistakes along the way, but I'm sure you'll attest that you're going to learn a lot more from your mistakes than you ever will from your successes. Absolutely.
And sometimes they're really expensive lessons.
Yes, that's what we say in real estate is you don't make mistakes, you learn expensive lessons.
That is exactly right.
And if you can do yourself a favor and not repeat the same mistakes, you'll do well for yourself eventually.
Yep, that's the name of the game. Mm-hmm. So you love what you're doing, and you're getting some support staff, some team members in some of your investments. Mm-hmm. I love that. How do you mentioned something about trust? You got to trust that it's going to work out. How have you found those people to connect with and partner with? Just get to know them well.
Trial and error.
Sure.
I've worked with a lot of contractors and different cleaners for my Airbnbs, and trust is paramount. When I first started, I was hell bent on learning how to do everything myself. So I was the marketer, I was the handyman, I was the property manager, and my thought process and my goal was that, all right, I want to learn what goes into doing all these different roles and functions, so that one day when my time is more valuable, I can pay someone and I know what I'm paying for and I'm paying the right price.
Okay, sorry, very, very quick, 2 light bulb moment kind of deal. Because you can't do it all yourself, man.
You really can't.
You ought to know what to do and what needs to be done, but you're spending your time, which is more valuable. I love that you said that. When your time is valuable, that's really good, man. How old are you?
I'm 37.
Yeah, dude, you're figuring stuff out.
It was a theory, and I'm glad that it's kind of coming to fruition now, because I don't enjoy being a handyman anymore.
No. Yeah. You're the most expensive handyman.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
I think your dad inspired you a lot along the way.
Very much so. My dad is a jack of all trades. He's definitely a hero to me. And growing up, he worked 2 jobs, 3 if you count being a coach. But he was a chef our whole life, and he was an ice sculptor when he got home from that day job. And so learned hard work from him. And besides that, he could not fathom paying people to do things that he could do. So we were always helping to, lay floors and change out toilets and do work around the house. He taught me a lot about money and how to grow your money and how to be smart with your money. And there's a really good story in that I could share.
Tell me.
So growing up, I always wanted a dirt bike. I rode one when I was young, and ever since that one ride, I was begging my dad. That was probably when I was like 10 years old, and I was begging him every year, buy me a dirt bike, please, please, please. I'm one of 4 boys, so we weren't struggling, but we weren't wealthy by any means, and there wasn't much room for extras when you have a full family growing up. And so probably when I turned 12, I guess he got tired of me begging him and annoying him with it. He was like, all right, Tyler, look, here's your deal. I'm born on November 12th. So the 12th birthday was my golden birthday. He said, I'll give you an option. I'll either finance a dirt bike for you, or I'll take you to go skiing. And my older brother, had just gone skiing the year before, and he was just raving about it. He loved it. I'd never been. And I had a tough choice. I'm like, man, I could go skiing, which sounds amazing, or this dirt bike that I've wanted for years. And I'm proud of myself because I chose the experience. I went with the ski trip. But I did a little bit of negotiation. This was my first negotiation that I can remember. I said, all right, Pops, I'm gonna take you up on the ski trip, but I got to bring my brother. And he said, all right. And so I went to my brother and I said, hey, bro, I can get you on the ski trip, but the new rollerblades you got, I'm going to need them. So he said, all right. So I got the ski trip and the rollerblades, And then on my 13th birthday, he financed a brand new dirt bike for me, and we had a little Excel spreadsheet, and I owed him $75 every month on a 2-year note, and I cut grass every weekend and washed cars every weekend, and I paid it off early in a year and a half.
That's amazing.
And looking back, I'm so glad he didn't just buy me one.
No, man. I have this theory of like a purchased bike ends up out in the rain. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You get a kid who buys their bike, they take care of it
every time.
It's in the garage, and they keep it running
every time. Yeah.
And so your dad, that's a great lesson.
That was my first business.
Great negotiating.
Yeah. I don't even think I knew what I was doing, but it worked out.
No, man. Within a year, you got your ski trip, that experience. Mm-hmm. You got your brother on there. It was even more fun with your brother.
100%.
Right? You got your rollerblades and a bike.
Yeah.
That's outstanding. Growing your company, what's the vision and where are you along that path, right? So now you're at like 5 or 6 Airbnbs. Mm-hmm. You have some physical properties, doors that you're renting out, mm-hmm. And I guess you're selling real estate as well.
Correct. Yeah. So I'm a local realtor coming up on 8 years now.
Wow.
In the top 10% every year, and I'm proud of that. But the reason I say that to my clients is I'm letting them know, like, you want to be dealing with someone that does what they preach and has a team behind them that can help you achieve the goals you want. And so my goals are to reach 100 doors. I just had to update my goal because before it was 25 doors, and I just accomplished that goal pretty recently. So you got to keep moving the goalpost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm building a team to help me get there because the more of the workload that I'm pushing off to people that I trust, the faster I'm growing and the less stressed I am. So I'm really enjoying delegating some of that workload.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm up to 28, 29 doors and under contract for number 30 and 31.
Very
so
good.
Most of them are long-term. 5 are short-term. I'm living in short-term number 6. And when I go out of town, I rent that out too.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I was on vacation one time and I was in a pool talking with some guy who was in Destin, and we were sitting there talking. And he asked if we owned the condo, and I said, "No, we're renting." And he says, "Well, my father-in-law owns this condo, and he's got 3 other really nice. He's got a place in Vail, a place in New England, mm-hmm. and somewhere in Florida or the East Coast." And he said, wherever he's not living, he's renting. You know what I mean? But he's got really, really nice places, and he just goes from one to the next. That's a pretty cool little life. And
that's a great move because I try not to buy anything that's not going to make me money or give me great experiences. And so the benefit to renting out a vacation home or your regular home is that you leave, and while you're gone, it's getting cleaned and it's making you money. So you're going to come back to a pristine house.
Yeah. And you're going to hear about things you need to maintain, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You got basically eyes on the property.
Yeah, that's right.
Between your guests and your cleaners, most of the time they're going to let you know.
Yeah. What's the amount of doors you get to before you start having your own crew?
It really depends, but I think you should manage your own properties as long as you can sustainably do that with just minimal team. So you could probably get up to maybe 10 or 15 doors before you start feeling the kind of pull to bring more people in.
That's right. And then you start getting people you can count on. And I guess that team, like you said, it grows as you grow. Mm-hmm. And the needs arise. But it's really... That's where I was when I was at about an 8-unit complex and a few houses. We were just like, man, we're right on the cusp, but we wouldn't pull the trigger. So.
And it's a weird spot to be in because you're like, well, I don't want to spend more money than I have to, but I do have to make these extra steps and make some new investments so that I can keep growing to free up my time. And that's kind of what I'm always chasing is to free up my time.
And all right. We may have a record here. So that's what I'm all about, because to me, the only way to generate time is to become more efficient, right? And what you're saying is you're doing this lifestyle business. Would you call it that? Kind of a
I like
lifestyle?
that. I haven't, but I might start using it. Lifestyle business.
I feel like you are in a lifestyle business intentionally.
Very much so.
Yeah, and then you're doing that. What are some of the things you do with your time?
Well, if I'm not in Lafayette, I'm usually traveling in the past year. in the past 11 months, I've traveled to 13 different countries.
Wait. In the last 11 months?
Yeah.
You got to tell me about that.
Well, I hadn't traveled much internationally besides driving up to Canada and going to Mexico, which, you don't really need a passport for that. Yeah. So I had a passport for 10 years, never used it. And this whole time I'm building my portfolio, my goal is to travel. I want to go explore and see the world. There's so much to see. And one of my favorite quotes is, I look at this bird and this bird can fly anywhere it wants. And I wonder why it stays here. And then I ask myself the same question.
Yeah.
And,
that's pretty cool.
And with that mentality, last year I renewed my passport and I tried out. What started was I tried out for this international motorcycle club. Going back to the dirt bike, I've been riding dirt bikes my whole life and I absolutely love it. And I've always wanted to travel and go ride different places because I've done Louisiana and I want to see what else is out there. So applied for this club. It's based out of Namibia in Africa.
Where?
Namibia.
Okay.
In Africa.
Okay,
and
I'll look that up.
it's just above South Africa. And last December, I flew out to Namibia for this, basically what was a tryout. And it's a 2-week tryout with this club where they're trying to see if you're the right type of person for their club. And what they're looking for basically is good people that will take care of the person next to them, that are going to maintain a good attitude, and then also people with the means and the mental ability to fly across the world and go ride with a bunch of strangers in a place they've never been. And it was an amazing experience.
So what's a club though? A motorcycle club?
It's
competition.
It's not a competition. It's just, like any club, it's a group of like-minded people that want to do the same thing. And so this club, they want to ride dirt bikes and they want to have amazing experiences all over the world. And so the excursions that we do are usually in places that no one has ever ridden, that we're not familiar with. Sometimes no one has ever ridden these trails. My first excursion after Africa was Albania in August. And that was a true 2-week excursion where we rode all around the country. And we went from the mountains to the valleys, and we did some volunteer work and actually met the president of Albania randomly in the Doberdale Mountains, and just an amazing experience. But the Africa trip was more of a testing ground. So we were doing PT every morning, basically CrossFit, and I've been doing CrossFit since 2013. So I did fine there. And the riding, I've been riding a long time, so I did well there. And they want good people. So I think,
turns out you're a good guy.
Turns out they think I'm a good guy. I think I'm a good guy.
Yeah.
And we had 6 guys in the group. 5 of us made it. 1 didn't make the cut.
Oh,
and then once you make it, you're eligible for the actual excursions.
Got it.
And so it was an amazing trip because I wasn't sure what to expect, right? And what we were doing was they were teaching us how to navigate. They were teaching us how to ride, how to follow directions, how to be self-sufficient, how to address medical emergencies. So we learned how to do tourniquets, dealing with broken bones and dealing with broken bikes, all of which those things come up in every excursion.
It happens at every one of them.
It does, yeah. So my first excursion in Albania, we had a couple broken bones and plenty of broken bikes. The goal is to persevere, to keep pushing on, to never lose a good attitude, and just to know that you're going to take care of the people next to you and they're going to take care of you as well.
Yeah, I love that. Be a good teammate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that's huge. That's a formula for any kind of organization.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
You're professional enough to make sure that if something happens, and things can happen, that you're covered for all of that, and then you're taking care of one another, and then going out and living this amazing life, seeing these, meeting presidents.
Yeah, I know.
It cracks me up.
I've got friends all over the world, and it's given me options to go visit them. So that just spurred more trips. So
what is up next for the club?
Next for the club, I don't have anything planned, but I have convinced my family to take we usually do a ski trip a year, and we usually do Colorado, Utah. I've convinced them to go to Switzerland.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's outstanding.
Yeah. So I'm excited about that. But with the guys from the club, I met guys from London and Denmark, and we went ride in Portugal, and we went ride in Romania, and I went ride in Denmark.
Is English the kind of common language, or
yes?
Okay.
It's been surprisingly easy to travel. English is the main language, and If it's not, there's usually Google Translate with you can use service or signage. You figure it out. Basically.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, we communicate in so many more ways than just language.
Exactly.
But it's kind of neat that you have people from all over the world getting together, your community, and then you go out and doing things that everybody enjoys doing.
Yeah, and I kind of compare it to grad school. My biggest takeaway from grad school was the people I met.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
The people I met in grad school are all mostly business owners, and a lot of them are still local. And the people I'm meeting in this club are just incredible people. Most of them are business owners. A lot of them most of them are very successful. I met a guy in Albania that's from Utah that was responsible for creating the security for the blockchain for Bitcoin, and they sold it to Bitcoin to create this new currency.
What?
Yes, and he's extremely humble,
Yeah,
extremely well off, but a friend for life.
And he's out there enjoying his life and meeting good people like you. I love this.
Yeah.
This is incredible.
It's been great to just see other like-minded people and see what's possible.
Heck yeah. It makes me, you thinking about starting a club for the United States and going to national parks or going,
I've thought about it, but cool. I'm like, I'm riding all these amazing places and then I'm looking at Louisiana and it just doesn't compare. I'm like, who wants to come ride in the swamps?
So 13 countries in 11 months. What's your favorite country and for what reason?
I'm separating the two. So favorite country, favorite, let's say city was Amsterdam.
Oh yeah.
Amsterdam, I went to last month actually, and it was just incredible. Just absolutely beautiful. So much history, so much beauty. And I've been, as a realtor and real estate investor, I'm always looking at real estate. I'm looking at, and not just the houses, right? I'm looking at roofs. I'm looking at driveways and roads. And as I'm in Amsterdam, I'm like, why is it so beautiful here? And it's because everything is so intentional and it's so old and it's for so many years. So the roads are cobblestone, the bridges are brick, and the roofs are terracotta, and the exteriors are also brick, and the windows are beautiful, and just flowers everywhere, and just people are very nice. It's a super bicycle friendly. I'm a big bicyclist as well. And if you've ever ridden a bicycle in Lafayette, you're risking your life when you ride over here.
Yeah.
And some of the huge differences when you're riding in Amsterdam, and I went to Copenhagen as well, is that bicyclists are protected and you don't have to fear for your life. And they even have stoplights for you, and people get out of the way. They have pretty good bike lanes in bigger cities somewhere like the United States, in New York, but a lot of times people will be walking in the bike lanes and trucks will stop and park in the bike lanes. There's no respect for them.
Yeah.
They're respected and everyone's riding. One of the coolest experiences was I went to the opera in Amsterdam, and when we left and walked out, usually you would see everyone getting in their Mercedes and BMWs. Well, everyone got on their bicycles and rode away.
That is really cool.
And I just thought it was the coolest thing ever, because I ride my bike all over town, and over here, one of the few, but over there, I'm one of the many.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
I love that. Well, I think it's picking up though. It
is. We're trying. They're making steps towards it.
Yeah, you sound like a pretty adventurous guy.
Yeah.
Right. What else do you do besides cycling and I guess dirt bikes and this club that takes you all over the world?
I'm a bit of an adrenaline junkie, so
yeah.
My hobbies are dirt biking, snowboarding. I'm a licensed skydiver. I'm a longboarder, bicyclist. I like to camp. I like to go whitewater rafting. Did some of that in Colorado last year. It's just incredible. So if there's not a chance of me dying from it, I'm probably not that interested.
Yeah, exactly. I'm feeling pretty lazy right now. I mean, like a bum.
Come to CrossFit with me.
Yeah, I'll meet you over there.
Yeah.
I'm aware that you came over here after Katrina and got a scholarship to kick at UL. Ended up with an MBA, and you figured out your path through a lot of experience. Like I said, journey of discovery, sort of. And again, I love what you said about you got to find your passion, something you can do for a long, long time. You enjoy it and make money from it. That is a big, big takeaway. You set out a path for your real estate company, and everything you're doing is it's either working out or you're learning along the way. They say success loves speed, right? So if you fail, you're quickly failing and learning and implementing.
Yes, I love that. Fail quickly.
Absolutely.
I think one of the worst things you can do is not make a decision.
Yeah.
Indecision is a killer. And so I think making a choice, either way, how it turns out is going to be the right choice, because either you're going to learn from it or it's going to be the right choice. And the more you do that, the better you'll get at making the right choice.
Making the right choice. Yeah, that's exactly right. And then you're making the right choices about life. I was at church this morning with my wife, and I couldn't help but notice that everybody who got up had their own little limp, including me. You know what I mean? It's kind of, you get up and then you have a certain little limp, and then everything, you work it out, right? Mm-hmm. People are waiting way too long to travel, to experience life. You know what I mean? You don't get on your deathbed and say, man, I wish I wouldn't have traveled so much. You know, how have you figured that out?
It's just being intentional. I'm actually limping a little bit right now. I had a little crash in Romania last month and hurt my knee, but I'm working it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as I'm traveling, I'm looking at the people that are also traveling, and I'm seeing young people and I'm seeing old people, and the old people, they just look miserable. And, you know, those are the ones that followed the plan that is laid out for us, right? Work your whole life, 40 years, and then enjoy retirement in your golden years. But by then, I figure I'm going to be tired and not want to do anything or not want to go anywhere and maybe full of regret. So I've built my life over the last really 10 years to do exactly what I'm doing really in the last 11 months. And, you know, what I'm doing didn't happen overnight. But this has always been the goal, to build up my real estate portfolio so that I could have the freedom to travel with some passive income still coming in. And so, I've made a lot of sacrifices. I've done things a lot differently than most people. You know, I drive a 15-year-old truck and I live extremely frugally. And those are the kind of small sacrifices that I make so that when the big purchases come and the opportunities to travel come, I'm prepared financially and mentally and physically.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that's why I do CrossFit, is to keep me in shape for any opportunity that might come. You know, ski season is always right around the corner, and I'm always training for that. Being able to leave and go to these places and having the freedom to do that has been paramount for me. So I've created a life in which I can leave easily, and I do have a support system that can keep things kind of running as I'm doing this extensional travel.
Yeah, this is an important episode, because everything, like, if you've ever listened to me, you've heard lead your people, grow your company, and live your life. And too many of us are not maximizing that opportunity to live our lives. Really appreciate some of the lessons you've shared. You've figured a lot of stuff out.
I appreciate it.
Man, well, enjoy Switzerland with your family. Keep making those good deals, and keep up what you're doing, man. It's important.
I think anybody can work towards any goal they want, and if freedom and travel is the goals that they want, then making the small sacrifices and you know, maybe downgrading your life for a year or two to go after that main goal that you want is paramount. You know, if you're not willing to do that, then you're going to be living in a cycle of materialistic consumption, and you're not really going to be able to get where you want to get in life.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. You even used the word sacrifice earlier on. You're sacrificing so you can enjoy this. And that light bulb moment, as I call it, was to take a year or two, conserve what you can conserve so you can then live the life. Nobody wants to do that. We're instant gratification.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of trained to do that right out of the box, right? It kind of goes against a lot of consumerism, and there's opportunities and distractions everywhere. And if you don't hone in on what your goals are, you let all these distractions pull on you, and you're just spinning your wheels. And, you know, that's what I talk to my clients about, that I'm helping to invest in properties, is, look, you could, you know, you're approved for $300,000. That's great. Well, you could go buy a $300,000 house and live in it, and that's it. You pay your note. Or how about you go buy a fourplex and you live in one unit and you rent the other three out and let your tenants pay for you to live? Sure, you're living in a fourplex that might not be the nicest, But you do that one time, 2, 3, 4,
Yep.
and by the end of that, you're going to have plenty of doors and you're going to have plenty of passive income. And so that's a small sacrifice in my mind.
Yeah, no doubt
for
about
the long term.
Small in money, comfort, and time. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what it's all about. Well, I'm going to put in the show notes how people can get in touch with you, because I know you're also a real estate agent. You know, and when people need to find a great home that fits them, but it's the investment property too.
Mm-hmm.
That you'll help people with. I love it, man. Keep doing what you're doing.
I appreciate it very much.
Thanks so much for tuning in to Lead, Grow, Live. I hope you enjoyed this episode. There are so many nuggets that Tyler gave us, and I want you to make sure you check the show notes so you can see how to get in touch with him. You know, whether you're working with him in a real estate venture or buying your first home or second home, he's really a great guy to help you do it. But I hope you really took away some of the lessons he talked about life and travel and experience. If you or somebody you know would be great on the show, please reach out to me at Jeff@Get Company Growth. Until then, keep leading your people, growing your company, and living your life.